Hello everyone, and welcome to the Manifesting House, where we discuss easy, effective methods you'll want to commit to. Today, I have a lovely success story for you. It's about how this one woman was able to use the Neville Goddard teachings to manifest her SP, otherwise known as a specific person. Over the course of a year, she went back and forth trying to manifest her SP, all while learning valuable lessons along the way. Lessons I will share with you during the reading of this story. So, without further delay, this is your story. This is going to be a lengthy story, but please listen to the end if you truly desire to know everything about manifestation and how it works. I'm going to share my story, how I manifested him, what happened in the 3D world, how I balanced my emotions throughout the journey, and more. I want to tell my story in detail because there are many people like me who are suffering. They're making the same mistakes as I did. But before we proceed, let me tell you all one thing. Time is a human-created concept. Limits are a human-created concept, so it's all in your mind and it's nowhere else. Change your thoughts, your mind, and your story, and you'll change your life. When everything started, I was aware of the law of attraction. My self-confidence and my self-concept was, in my opinion, perfect. My SP and I were madly in love, but something in me began to wear away, and I developed all kinds of insecurities, doubts, and negative thoughts. I unintentionally began to push him away, and he broke up with me on March 15th, 2020. He said all the worst things to me and wanted nothing more to do with me. After this initial incident, he made it clear that he didn't want me in his life anymore, and he removed me from his friends list on all our socials. He made it so he and I had completely no way of contacting each other. I remember the date we broke up because it was the beginning of my downward spiral and my subsequent rebirth. But until my rebirth, for 3 months straight, I cried day and night. Unsurprisingly, I developed some health issues. I went into a deep depression and I stayed away from all my friends. I had been isolated in my home completely due to the lockdown, and I had absolutely no contact with anyone in the outside world. Needless to say, I felt like a loser. I felt as though no one would ever love me again. I grew a deep hatred of humanity, and I lost the desire to interact with anyone. Despite this inner turmoil, I still loved him, and I wanted him back urgently, but I just didn't know how to make this happen. As I mentioned before, I was aware of the law of attraction. I treated this as my last resort to fix everything that went wrong, so I tried all those LOA techniques, and what do you know? Nothing happened. In June of 2020, about 3 months after he left me, I started learning about the law of assumption. I had zero hope and belief, but I still wanted to give it a try. So, after learning everything I could understand, on the 3rd of July, I decided to manifest a text message from him before the 31st of July, and I ended this day with an SATS experience. On the 7th of July, he sent me a Facebook friend request. I was shocked. Now, you'll be surprised to hear this, but bear with me. I did not accept his friend request. I still wanted to test this out more. So 2 days later, he removed his request, but that didn't faze me. I knew that the law of assumption had worked once and that it would work again. So I continued to imagine night after night that which I wanted to experience. And on the 31st of July, he sent me a friend request again, but this time he also texted me on WhatsApp. Remember my intention of manifesting a text message from him by July 31st? Manifestation received. Though it was not Friendship Day, he texted me saying, "Happy Friendship Day." This time, I also ignored him because this subject matter simply wasn't in alignment with what I wanted to experience. I preferred him to speak to me about rekindling our romance, creating a future together, commitment, marriage. As I did not reply, he blocked me straight for 2 months, which made me feel temporarily low, as though I'd overplayed my hand. But shortly after this point, I became aware of mental diets and proper affirmations. I wanted to imagine marriage directly, but something inside me just did not believe that this would happen. So instead, I decided to take it step by step. I continued SATs and imagined a text from him here and there, and later found out that on October 8th of 2020, he unblocked me. Progress. I was not consistent at all, but I decided that from December 1st, I would be strict and firm, and I'd keep myself on a mental diet. I remembered that his birthday was on the 18th of December, and I wanted to wish him well on this day, but I also wanted him to text me first, so I affirmed all day, every day for 3 days, and on December 11th, he texted me with some bogus excuse. He claimed to have lost my number even though I saw his WhatsApp contact list and I'm still on it. Again, my manifestation was realized and on time. This was when I came to the conclusion that there is always movement behind the scenes. Every time you affirm and focus on a new story and you persist in this story, the other components that may be part of your story, even the human ones, their ways of thinking and behaviors will start changing. Have you noticed yet? Here was a man who had left me for reasons that had yet to be resolved. He had no way of knowing whether I had changed or not. He once wanted absolutely nothing to do with me, yet here he was now, finding ways to talk to me. For 4 months, we went on like this. He'll text me for whatever reason. I may or may not text back, depending on what I felt at the time. To a sane thinking person, it would have appeared that this was all our relationship would ever be, but knowing the law of assumption, I knew better. After a brief break of no texting, he called me on March 26th. As I had previously imagined he would do, he told me that he loved me and that he loves me more than anyone else. He went on to say that though he wants to get back together with me, he would never consider marriage, not even to me. Please keep in mind that he is a very stubborn man, so hearing this disturbed me mentally, and I began to entertain negative thoughts. These negative thoughts grew greater and greater until they manifested in him being cold towards me, which further exacerbated my insecurities. My feeling of insecurity manifested him openly praising and flirting with other women right in front of me, which only served to feed my insecurities even more, until that is where I decided to just stop. In June of 2021, I decided that I'd had enough. I refused to play these mental games with myself, going back and forth. I understood finally that I was the one creating these limitations the whole time and not my SP. I asked myself one simple question: what do I want? And the answer came to my mind swiftly and clearly: marriage. No more texts, no more specific steps. I only wanted one thing: marriage. I created a scene where he and I are holding hands and we're standing on a terrace as wife and husband looking at the world. In this scene, I was the love of his life, the only woman he'd ever truly loved this way. I also employed the help of the wonderful telephone technique. I heard him saying the most loveliest things to me, that he loved me, that I was his wife and he couldn't be without me, and more. I only allowed myself to hear words of love and love only. It was a little hard, but not more than the pain which I had endured throughout this 1 year. On July 1st, 2021, he called me. I took a moment before I answered his call. In the back of my mind, I still had my insecurities. I was aware he could potentially say awful things to me, but it's important to state that these negative thoughts were not my dominant thoughts. I had only been imagining the best case scenario, that he's in love with me. With this assurance and peace in my heart, I answered the phone. He confessed his love for me. He said the most wonderful things even I couldn't have imagined. He proposed to me, and now we're engaged to be married. So, what have you understood from my story? Giving half-hearted efforts will give you half-hearted results. You can have bad days, bad weeks, and bad months, but you will still get what you want if you persist. Thoughts, if persisted in, creates feelings and emotions. No matter what, if you decide you want something, stick to it. Do not question your desire. It was put within you by divinity. Please keep in mind that even on the 26th of June in 2021, I still did not believe that he would ever marry me. However, my persistent efforts, they aided me in gradually believing that he would, and in fact already had. Everything you believe now, everything you're experiencing now, was once repeated by you, even if it wasn't entirely true at the time. Now, please allow me to help you by providing some in-depth tips that I myself have tested over and over again, even on a subject matter such as this one, a subject matter that I deem to be incredibly important to me. Well, first of all, you need to calm everything that's happening in your mind right now. Just relax your thoughts, relax your body, and simply ponder for a while the idea that you create your own reality. But how will you know with certainty that you create your reality? The answer is when you test it on random, simple things and on every person you meet. You'll know. Tip 2 is to step into the power. Know that you are God. By God, I mean the one which we've heard of since childhood, the most powerful one who can create anything instantly, who always gets everything, the one who is powerful and unstoppable, the one who will never take no for an answer, the God which our parents taught us of. Now you know that you are that God. Step into that power. When fears, doubts, insecurities creep in, remind yourself of your power. Remind yourself of how powerful you are. The third tip is persistence. Decide what you want. I truly believe that your God self knows how much time it takes. If you feel manifesting some money may take 1 month, then give yourself that time frame and stay committed till that date. Even if you don't get it by then, keep persisting. It will come to you. It has no other choice. So far on my journey, I've manifested money, weight loss, my specific person, a job promotion, and it all took from 3 days to 1 month to reach a full physical manifestation, and not more than that. Every time I feel low, I jump right into a Neville Goddard lecture, which always strengthens my faith and gives me that much needed boost to my vibrational field. Living in the end means living as if it has already happened or is happening now. An easy way to manifest everything is to ask yourself who you are in this story. And what is your relationship to that which you want to experience? Write the story where you are now living with or as your desire 24/7 and dwell in that story. Alternately, you can choose to manifest by living in multiple ends. For example, if you're attracting an SP and let's say you're wanting to marry this person, marriage is not the end. There is more life after marriage. There are anniversaries and more. This is just a thought I want you to ponder because I want you to realize that it's perfectly fine to manifest in steps according to your current level of belief regarding the topic. Back to the example of attracting an SP, however, it's okay to live in the end where your SP has texted you. Once this has been manifested, you can live in the end where you are now in a beautiful, flirtatious relationship. After this has been achieved, you can choose to live in the end where you are now married, and so on and so on. The point is, you can have multiple ends and you can manifest each one by one, building your faith with each manifestation. Now that you know the law, it's time for you to wake up and to change the way in which you think. Change all your unpleasant stories into pleasurable ones. Create the best concept of yourself in regards to everything in your life, your money, your career, your health and body, your relationships, your skills and talents, and dwell there. If you have one single desire, create a small story and tell of a pleasing relationship with it. Persist in your story until it's physical. You will see the bridge of incidents that will guide you to the full realization of your dreams. Even if you don't believe your story, just dwell in it. What have you got to lose? Eventually, you will start believing it's true, and this is when the magic happens. I encourage you to experiment plenty. There's no better way to build your belief in yourself and in the law than by experiencing the wonders for yourself. You can become a manifesting master. You can manifest anything you want with ease and precision. It just takes practice. So, decide now what it is that you truly want. Don't judge your desires as wild or impractical. Your desires are meant to be expressed through you. What do you want? Whatever it is, decide now that you already have it. How do you feel? What are the finer details of your desire that you could not previously see? Now that you've manifested your dream, can you recall the steps you took to get here? Can you recall how long it may have taken your dream to fully manifest? The moment you realized you had achieved your dream, what emotion did you feel? Were you surprisingly calm? Were you lightly grateful? Were you ecstatic? Did you notice how logical it felt? Did it feel common to you? When you manifested what you wanted, how did you feel? However you felt, live from that state of your wish fulfilled now. Hello everyone, Chelsea here. How did you like this success story? I think there are so many elements here to unpack, and I'm personally going to be going over this story for my own use. I love that this wasn't really about manifesting an SP, for me at least. For me, the basis of it was more about how to manifest anything at all. It was more about how manifestation in general really works. I have never heard a better explanation or a better guide to manifesting in the modern day. I am so pleased I get to share this story with you because I truly feel as though this will resonate with a lot of people out there and it will yield much needed clarity. And that is the end of this video. I truly do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I trust you'll give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more content just like this one. I cannot wait to hear from you in the next video. Toodles.